Okay, everybody, we're going to get started. So just a couple reminders. Welcome back after lunch, by the way. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the keynote, got lots of good food to eat, enjoyed the marketplace. So we're starting our breakout session of the afternoon here. So with that, just a couple reminders again, just to silence your cell phones, please, while our speaker is presenting. Definitely ask your questions in the app. So all throughout Olivia's presentation, feel free to put those in there and we'll ask them to her at the end. And just as a reminder too, the session is being recorded and exits are right in the back and there's restrooms straight down that way as well as down the hallway to your right. So with that, I'm going to bring back up Adriana Dawson, who is the Community Engagement Director of the East Region of Verizon, who is our sponsor for this track today in this session. Adriana?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I've been taking some liberties in terms of the sessions I've had the opportunity to introduce the speakers for, where I just feel like we needed to bring some energy into these rooms. Are we ready to roar? Hold on. She's coming. Yes! Can I see some energy? I love that. I was saying, we need to continue with the music and the energy as we come into these sessions, especially since we're going to be honored by subject matter experts who will be facilitating and walking us through some important conversations. But again, my name is Adriana Dawson. I am the Director of Community Engagement for Verizon, and so I have the distinct pleasure of helping support our community partnerships and our philanthropy and making investments in Verizon's key legacy areas, and very importantly, supporting our small business community and lifting and helping transforming lives and with you today. So thank you again. And I have my colleague Bob, who is an amazing ally and has learned about all things about how to empower women today. So how about a round of applause for Bob and all of the allies and accomplices who have joined us today. But the reason that we're here, and again, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules to be a part of this amazing conference. And you are now stepping into breakout session number 3 of the day. And without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Olivia Eaddy. Olivia is a vice president of claims on Prudential's U.S. customer service team. Her team consists of more than 300 associates located both domestically and internationally, and she is responsible for the administration of millions of life insurance solutions. A true student of leadership, Eaddy is known as an engaging and inspirational leader who gets work done the right way and inspires followership along the way. As the president and founder of Will Live Ministries, Inc., she is passionate about people development and actively facilitates conferences and leadership training for nonprofit organizations. In addition, she is an advisory board member from Montclair State University and its College of Education and Human Services. She lives in Montgomery County with her husband and 2 sons. And she enjoys spending time with her family, supporting her local church, and traveling. Me too, girl. Me too. Eaddy received a bachelor's degree from Zaya University, a master's degree from Liberty University, and holds a Series 6 license. She has also earned certificates in Lean Green Belt, Loma FLMI, Women United Impact, and business architecture. So without further ado, leading us through a conversation titled On Purpose, Live Intentionally, please join me in giving Olivia Eaddy a very, very warm welcome and round of applause.
All right, thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, wait, before she leaves, can we see these fabulous shoes she has on?
Wait.
I thought my sneakers were something, but I don't know. This is like amazing.
Wait. Hold on, because I need to give her a shout out. So I happen to overhear that our amazing speaker recently lost 50 pounds. And tell me how amazing she looks, because I would be feeling myself right now if I lost, let's say, even 10. So, girl, work the stage. It is all you.
Thank you. That's too funny. So those who know me in this room know that I am significantly smaller. It's funny because one of the people that support me, she saw the picture that was up there. She was like, "You need a new photo, Olivia. Like, that doesn't even look like you anymore." But I'm so privileged to be here today and talk to you about such an important topic, purpose. And guess what? Today we get to do it on purpose. Today, in this moment, is all about being intentional and all about really taking advantage of our time together to really get grounded on what purpose is and what that will look like in our lives. So I will say I've done trainings on purpose and spoken in front of groups on purpose in times past. And I always felt like I had a good understanding about what purpose is and how to live into it. But this year has put all of those previous assumptions to the test in ways I did not expect. Some are laughing because they know, you just heard my bio. In January, I was notified that my job was being eliminated. So I am no longer the vice president of the claims area. A 17-year career of mine was coming to an end. Now, this was the type of moment that I actually dreamed about. And when I say dreamed about, like fantasized about, I always wanted to do something different that I was more passionate about, something that made me wake up in the morning like, yay, this is purpose. And so here was my opportunity. Well, I stand before you today to tell you the last several weeks and months since I was notified and now officially separated have not been easy. They have been very challenging. I would best describe it as like an emotional roller coaster that I wasn't strapped in for. But I believe these past weeks and months allow me to stand before you today more raw, more real, and more passionate about purpose than ever before. So we are going to have a great session. And you're going to be able to ask me any question you want. I'm really transparent and try to be fully authentic. So just ask away and get those questions in the app. Before we go much further, I want to level set expectations so we know what we're going to expect about our time together. So I expect that we are going to leave here uplifted, empowered, and encouraged to live with intentionality for purpose on purpose. That's my expectation for you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to level set your expectations in just a moment. But I always feel like it's important for us to take a moment to say, why are we here today? What is the purpose of our time together? Now, random pivot. Who here likes bananas? It felt random, didn't it? It felt like, what in the world, where is she about to go next? Okay, as a kid, I hated bananas. Okay, sorry, hated bananas. I didn't even like the banana flavored candy, like, ugh. Now as an adult, I could take a banana in my protein shake every morning that I've been drinking for the past year to lose this 50 pounds that we just talked about. When I was taught how to peel a banana, I was taught this is the top, middle, bottom. How you peel a banana, you start from the top, and you work the way down. Again, show of hands. I got to make sure everybody's awake. Is this how you peel a banana? Okay. All right. My kids, I have two boys, 7 and 10. They came home peeling their bananas this way at one point in time, and they had to get the mommy tutorial. So you're about to get the mommy tutorial on how to peel a banana. I read a book many, many years ago, probably when I was a teenager, called Banana Thinking. And what researchers found is that they studied apes, gorillas, monkeys, pretty much any mammal that could eat 100 or plus bananas a day. And what they found is that they ate bananas wrong. They actually started with the bottom first, and they peeled it this way. By peeling it this way, it actually bruised the fruit bruised less easily. If you ever had a banana, you can't it peeled faster, and it created its own natural handle, okay? Talk about a more efficient way to peel a banana. So if you take nothing from today, please start peeling your bananas the right way. You have received the mommy tutorial. I talk about banana thinking, or sorry, let me go back. Ooh, I'm going the wrong way. All right, we'll just leave it. All right. Actually, can I go back? Let's see. I can do this. I can. All right. Before I move forward, I talk about banana thinking because as we think about purpose, I want us to apply banana thinking today about purpose. Let's flip it on its head and see what we can glean from it, okay? So the next, anyone who knows me, I like organization and outlines, okay? So if you're like me and you're taking notes, we're gonna explore 3 sections. We're going to explore purpose, living purpose, and renewing purpose. Like what happens when purpose is the real. So here's our journey today. I said I leveled set expectations. I am now going to give you your opportunity to level set expectations. I have my phone up here for a reason. I know they talked about screen time. I didn't want to raise my hand, but I think I was with the teenagers. Like, just, okay. So for the next 30 seconds, what I want you to do is actually think about what purpose means to you. You've heard it defined, I know, in several different workshops, but if I were to hand you a microphone and say, what does purpose mean to you, what would you say? And then the other thing I want you to do in that 30 seconds is I want you to think about what you want when you leave this room. I already level set what my expectations are for you, but I want to know what's your expectation for you. So I have literally a timer on my phone, 30 seconds on the clock, okay? Go. All right, that was 30 seconds. It feels awkward when I'm standing up here. I had to look at the phone. I couldn't look at you all. All right, so hopefully you got that. For the next 30 seconds, what I want you to do is say to the person next to you, 1 or 2 people next to you, no more than 2, because we can't have a whole group meeting together in the next 30 seconds. So in 30 seconds, what I want you to say to the person next to you is either what you defined as purpose or more importantly, what you hope to get out of today's session, okay? We only got 30 seconds. Wait, I gotta get back to my timer. All right. It keeps wanting to default to 3 minutes. We don't have 3 minutes today. All right. Go. All right, our 30 seconds are up. That was really fast. Did everyone get a chance? Do we need another extra few seconds? Okay. All right. So I've read and heard in other research that when we say something and we hear our voice say it, we believe it more. So it was very intentional and purposeful for you to have to vocalize what your expectations are for our time together. Look, the alarm is going off again. That's because I was trying to give you all a few more seconds, but we are not going to snooze on this one. All right, I got to make sure it's off. Think about that. When we hear something said in our voice, we actually believe it more. How often do we allow something to come out of our mouth about ourselves that maybe we shouldn't really believe? So you now know what you believe purpose is, and we're going to see if you still believe that maybe at the end of the session, but you also have level set expectations of what you hope to get out of here. So I could tell you that what I hope, but you're probably going to more likely get what you just hoped yourself. All right, let's just read. We're exploring purpose, so let's just read the definition of what it is. The purpose is the reason for which something is done or is credited or created, or for which something exists. Can I just say that each and every one of us here in this room, we woke up this morning with breath in our lungs Therefore, we have a purpose and we are here for a reason. And I will tell you more than once while I'm up on the stage, you are valuable, you are important, and there is a reason for why you exist. Not just for you, not just for your family, but for all of us forever. For all of us forever, what we do matters. Who remembers this moment in grade school? What do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm going to be fully transparent, so you get a little flavor of that. I wanted to be a mud wrestler when I was a kid. No lie. It's a long story. We can talk about it maybe later if we cross paths in the hallway or something. However, let's just say my mom is glad that my life went a different path, okay? I mentioned this moment in grade school because when we think about traditional definitions of purpose, a lot of times this is where it's formed, right here in the classroom of what do I want to be when I grow up? And then we start to think that if we fulfill that thing, whether it be I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a mom, I want to be a mud wrestler, whatever our thing is, if we could get to that, we fulfilled our purpose in life. Check the box. But I'm here to tell you, or maybe remind you, that purpose does not equal, your career does not equal your purpose. And I want to challenge that thinking for us, because even though you could look back at me and say, obviously, Olivia, my career is not my purpose for being, but yet I think sometimes in our subconscious, we still believe that. So then when we get news like what I got in January, that my job is being eliminated, my 17-year career is coming to an end, it hits us in a way that we weren't expecting, because we now feel like, well, what's our purpose? 98% of people will die without fulfilling their dreams. Wealth Market Research Group wrote an article about this, and when they describe dreams, they actually are describing the dream of that euphoric purpose that we're talking about. 98%. That means 98% of us are not going to get there. That's a staggering and sobering thought, right? Now, they go on to give advice on how you can maybe transform this, and some of it is living with intention, and it is about living with purpose. But to me, it begs the question of, does purpose have to be singular? The traditional thinking of purpose is how I would define it as that one purpose, one life's overarching goal, and everything has to point to it. And if we are not doing anything that's in that direction of that, shame on us, we are not living our purpose. But we talked about bananas just a few moments ago, right? I would say the banana thinking to purpose, and what I want to challenge us today is that purpose is not just a one singular thing that we are striving for, but it's multifaceted. Purpose is multi-purposes throughout life that are situational. They are developmental, and most importantly, they are impactful. I take us here because when we think that purpose is that one arching goal and we either hit it or we miss it, then we diminish the fact that we have value right here in this moment. We have value today. There's purpose that we should be living into right here today in this moment, but we will miss it if we only think that our purpose is to be the mud wrestler that we are clearly not going on track to be. I said that we're going to do three sections. So I want to migrate to our second section of how do we live into this. So we define purpose. You all defined what you thought purpose was. We read the definition. I'm telling you that I see purpose as being multifaceted. So how do you live into it? Who here has heard of the butterfly effect? Okay, lots of you. Okay, who here can define what it is? Don't look at the screen, no cheating. The butterfly effect was a doctrinal thesis written by Edward Lorenz in 1963. And it basically said that a butterfly could flap its wings and start to move the air molecules next to it at one place in the planet. So let's say we have the butterfly here, one place in the planet, flap its wings, start moving air molecules. That would create such a ripple effect that in another place and time, all the way on the other side of the world, it could create a catastrophic weather event, like a hurricane. Now, can you imagine that? a butterfly, by flapping its wings, created the hurricane all the way on the other side of the world? Edward Lorenz presented this thesis to the New York Academy of Science, and he was laughed out of the place. However, the thought of a concept that a butterfly could do such a thing had popularity. And so there was a movie made about it. There's other things that why probably most of us have heard of it before. And that longevity and popularity was so impactful that in the 90s, physics students and researchers actually studied this thesis further to see if it was legitimate. They found that this butterfly effect actually doesn't just happen with butterflies, but any moving matter. Any moving matter. And it happens all the time, every time, including us as humans. This was proven out so well that they gave the butterfly effect the certification of a law. The law of sensitive dependence on initial conditions. Like the law of gravity. So now, all of a sudden, a butterfly flapping its wings doesn't sound so absurd, does it? I normally, at this point in time, would go take a seat and play a video for you of Andy Andrews doing a speech about the butterfly effect. It's so well done. If you can watch it later, you'll be like, this is what Olivia was just doing. I don't have the capacity to do that today, but I would love the opportunity to walk you through the human butterfly effect in respects to purpose and see how it gives us perspective. Norman Borlaug. Who here knows Norman Borlaug? I like the raising of the hands, like we're back in school. Anyone? No? All right, he's a Nobel Prize winner. You see those gold medals, so he must be important. He is actually credited with saving 2 billion lives from famine based on the work that he's done with hybridizing corn and wheat in arid climates. Isn't that like, if somebody was like, hey, are you living out purpose? I'd be like, listen, I saved 2 billion lives, y'all. Like, yeah, I know how to live out purpose. But most of us didn't even know who he was, right? So when we think about purpose, I think we think 2 billion lives, check the box, ding, 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 ring the bell, I win the gold medal. I say that to say, oh, I'm going backwards, I'm jumping ahead. Norman Borlaug, so the question for me is, who flapped their butterfly wings in the direction of Norman Borlaug that really should have the credit for maybe saving these 2 billion lives? That's where I want to introduce you to Henry Wallace. Henry Wallace was the vice president, one of the vice presidents during Franklin Roosevelt's presidencies. He was the president 3 times, so he had 3 vice presidents. This was one of them. In the office of Secretary of Agriculture, he actually invested in building a site in Mexico. That sole purpose of that location was to focus on hybridizing wheat and corn in arid climates. It was Henry Wallace that took a chance on an up-and-coming researcher named Norman Borlaug. So now the question becomes, step aside, Norman, because you wouldn't have even had your chance if it wasn't for Henry Wallace, right? So shouldn't Henry Wallace get the credit for saving 2 billion lives? But then we got to say, who flapped their butterfly wings in the direction of what? Henry Wallace. We kind of jumped ahead, so you might already guess. It was George Washington Carver. Now, I won't even ask for show of hands. I think we all know who George Washington Carver is. He gave us 266 ways on how to use a peanut, 88 ways on how to use a sweet potato. I mean, I don't know how many lives on top of this 2 billion we could maybe point in his direction. George Washington Carver, when he was 19 years old, a student at Iowa State University, he had a dairy science professor who would bring his 6-year-old son on weekends to hang out with his brilliant student, George. George would spend his weekends flapping his butterfly wings in the direction of that little 6-year-old boy, Henry, and shared his brilliance. So when we think about who really is credited with saving 2 billion lives, I think we got to look back at George Washington Carver and his investment in a 6-year-old boy on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon to go on botanical expeditions. But now I got to keep going, y'all, okay? Who flapped their butterfly wings in the direction of George Washington Carver that maybe should get some of this credit of 2 billion lives? I mean, this is a lot of lives we're talking, right? Let me introduce you to Moses Carver, and I apologize, I don't have a picture of Susan, or Susan would be up here too. Susan and Moses were farmers, owned a farm in a slave state, but they did not believe in slavery. This did not make them popular with people like the Quadro Raiders that went around terrorizing citizens because of their beliefs. So one night, Susan and Moses, their farm was raided by this group, and they burned, killed, shot their people and their land. It was that night that they actually drug away a woman named Mary Washington, who refused to give up her little infant baby boy, George. When Susan and Moses found out that Mary had been taken, they were devastated. Susan was actually best friends with Mary. So Moses decided that he wanted to set up a meeting with the Quadro Raiders in hopes to do a trade or an exchange. In 2 days, he had that meeting. He met them and traded his last horse for what they threw him in a burlap sack. A little, barely alive infant baby boy. At that point in time, Moses knew the fate of Mary. He took that burlap sack, he grabbed that baby boy and said that he would raise that baby boy as his own, give that baby boy his name, and invest in that baby boy to the best of his ability. That baby boy, George Washington Carver. So when we think about who should be credited with saving 2 billion lives, I think Moses and Susan might make the list. Flap your butterfly wings on purpose, for purpose. We could be here all day and probably into next year trying to dissect who else flapped butterfly wings in the direction that gives credit for this 2 billion lives. But my point is, what you do matters. Not just for you, not just for your family, but for all of us forever. Living on purpose. Don't underestimate your impact on this earth. When we talk about purpose, we've been talking about it all day. Don't underestimate the impact you may have. What purpose are you living out every day? What ripples are we making in this pond of life? What wing flaps are we making each and every day? And don't think that what your career is the equivalent of your purpose. I like to migrate to a personal story of mine, true story, but it's like 20 plus years old. I was flying back from a conference on my way home, and I was at a very contemplative place in life. I know why I won't go into all of that, but let me just tell you, I was done. I remember getting on a late night flight, it was dark, and I sat on the window seat. Eventually a woman came, she sat in the same aisle as me, a row as me on the aisle. I gave her a courtesy smile, and then I turned to the window, looking out the window and just wishing life would end because I did not feel like I had a purpose for going on and for existing. I remember seeing my reflection in the glass of the window and looking and praying and saying, God, can you just let life just be over now? Now, I said this is a 20-year-old story. At the baggage claim, I went to go get my bag, and the woman who sat in the aisle next to me comes over to me, and she wanted to personally thank me. She said, I wanted to thank you for the smile you gave me when I got on the airplane. She said, I'm here to bury my only son, and I had so much grief, but it was your smile that made me know that I can make it another day and that I was going to be okay. Honestly, I was embarrassed by the internal dialogue I was having in the moment when I gave her the smile, but I offered her my condolences. That story, 20 plus years later, still sticks with me today. Because when we talk about living out purpose, when we talk about making butterfly flaps and ripples in the pond of life, sometimes it's as simple as just giving someone a smile. That smile that creates a ripple of giving them the hope that they can make it past their immediate situation. we're moving on because I would be remiss if I did not talk about renewing purpose. Because sometimes we're in life and we're like, listen, Olivia, I know my purpose. I actually live it out every day. I don't even know why I'm in this workshop. But sometimes, even after we're in that spot of feeling like we know purpose, we got it, we're good, life throws us a curveball. Did I mention what happened in January? Okay, all right, I'm just making sure. This list could probably go on for several other slides, but I'm only going to mention 4 right now. One is like tragedy. The real life stuff happens. I thought my purpose was to be a mom, and what? You maybe find out that you can't have children, or the one child you did have died and now you can't have any more. What do you do when purpose like goes off track like that? Tragic. It's outside of your control. What happens when you just don't get the opportunity? You thought you were going to be an American Idol star, but listen, they didn't pick you for the competition. Now you're past the age and the show is discontinued. I don't know. Like, you missed the opportunity. You didn't get the job. You didn't get the job, the promotion, whatever it was. It just wasn't for you. So then what happens with purpose at that point in time? What happens when we have a distracted focus? That's me. I thought after I would graduate college, I was going to save the world with social work and just like all the volunteer work. And then my bill said, nope, you're not. Okay. I said, oh, okay. Hi, Prudential. I would like a job. 17 years later, here I am, okay? And then the 4th one is just fear. Like sometimes I think we're just afraid of what it would feel like to live out purpose. Like we know we kind of can do it, but we're scared of what that's going to look like. So I need a volunteer, just one volunteer. I can't promise I'm going to be kind, but I'm going to be there. One volunteer. All right, come on up. I need you up on the stage with me, and we're going to figure out the best place to do this. Maybe right here. She's like, oh, I don't know what I'm signing myself. You might. I don't know. I'm a little scared.
Remember that.
It's okay. It's okay. So I got these rubber bands here. This is what's making me scared. Okay, but we're going to pick a good one. I think this white one will work for us. What I want you to do is you're going to keep your feet planted here, and then you're going to hold this rubber band like in your hand so I can pull it. Let's try it this way. So I can pull it. Okay. Now, what's your name?
Donna.
Donna. I can read the name tag. Okay. Donna here. Thank you for volunteering, by the way.
Of course.
Sometimes when we think about purpose, we're like Donna. We're in our groove. We know where our place is. We know our lane, and we're feeling good about it. And then life happens like this. So this rubber band represents life. As I pull on life, which is going to pull on Donna, I want you to keep your feet planted, okay? Now, but you tell me when you feel like I'm just like wave the flag, okay? All right, ready?
Ready.
All right. Now, I will say, if you don't say it, I'm going to say it at some point. Well, when are you feeling nervous? Like you want me to stop?
Not yet.
All right, shoot. Woo. All right, don't hurt us, Donna. All right. Okay. Ooh, okay. This is like way farther than I thought you would. I've done this before, and people don't ever. Okay, all right. Now, Donna, how you feeling? Okay. But wait, you told me to stop. How you feeling? Are you feeling a little nervous, a little uncomfortable? Just a little. Ooh, okay. I feel like I pulled more. She's just feeling a little. What I want you to do is take one baby step towards me. All right, take one more. All right, how's that feel?
A little better.
It's better. Oh. All right, thank you. That wasn't too horrible. See?
You didn't hurt me.
I didn't hurt you. And look, I got a gift for you. I got bookmarks for us afterwards. All right, she gets a ribbon. Not everybody gets a ribbon, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, she was brave. I'll be honest, Donna, you made me nervous in a way that I wasn't prepared for. Okay, sometimes life feels like that. Like we feel like we're good. We know what purpose is. We know what we're doing, but then it starts to pull on us. Tragedy hits. An opportunity was missed. Stuff happens that makes us feel uncomfortable. And when that happens, what I want to encourage us to do is lean into purpose. Step out of your comfort zone and lean in. You saw when she took that step towards me, towards purpose, when she took that other step towards me, she started feeling like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as it was where I was. There are opportunities that still exist for us, but we gotta get a little uncomfortable at times and lean into purpose. And sometimes life just throws us a curveball and already you're like, whoa, how did that rubber band pull that fast, that quick? But other times it's just that subtle, like, oh, I'm getting tired. I'm not enjoying this as much. And it's in those moments that I don't want us to resist and stay planted in, because we might get hurt, right, Donna? We might get hurt. We stay there, right? But I want us to lean in. This is how, when we talk about renewing purpose, it's called resilience and being resilient like that rubber band. Now, I have no idea how I'm doing on time, but, oh, okay, good. All right, so what can you do today on purpose to start living intentionally? What can you do today? I do think sometimes in our minds, we make purpose seem so big and so grand, so like huge, that we miss the opportunity to just lean into the moments that today presents us. Because listen, some days, today, what we were purposed to do today was enough. It was enough for today. It is enough for today. And we got to be okay with that. And know that when tomorrow comes, if tomorrow comes, hopefully it will, we'll have enough grace and energy and purpose for that day to live it out to its fullest extent. I don't want us to underestimate what purpose looks like and how we can live into purpose. I don't want us to underestimate when life starts to pull at us and we get derailed. Sometimes we just still want to stay planted and then we're hurt and we're stuck and we don't understand how we move past all of that. Well, how you move past is you lean in. So I want to pause here because I want to make sure we have time for some questions. So do I have any questions?
Yeah. We don't have anything
Okay.
yet, so
All right.
wants to ask anything.
What questions do you have for me?
How do you find your purpose, or what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to figure out what their purpose is?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I might need my water in a second. What I would say is I'm challenging even the way you're asking that question, but not to be mean, but just because I want you to hear yourself say that. Like, oh, well, I don't even know what my purpose is, right? Trust me, that day on the airplane, I didn't know what my purpose was. So I don't know if we're asking the right question when we ask that question. Thank you so much. I don't know if we're asking the right question. I think we need to look every day and say, what can I do purposely and intentionally today that will add value? I think of, like, I'm always a person that has to put the grocery cart back. I even know, I'm like, why did I park here? Because now I got to walk the grocery cart all the way back over there. I didn't bring a kid, like a 10-year-old, to be like, Evan, go take the cart back, you know? But I think, how many times do workers look on and just see us shove the cart to the side and probably think, my life has no meaning, like no one even sees me? So sometimes purpose can be just as simple as being intentional to do the kind act for the person that you might not even see that they're looking in your direction, but you're doing that act with intentionality because you know that if you don't do it, somebody else is going to have to be stuck doing it, and you want to know that you see them even though they may not see you. So when we ask, what's my purpose? How do I live in purpose? Like, I just want to challenge the thinking, because I think that goes back to what do you want to be what do you want to be when you're older, when you grow up? But what can we do today with intention that feels purposeful? All right. Any other questions? All right. Yes.
Can you talk about how you stay positive? Having the privilege of working with you, one of the things that was most amazing to me is even in the worst of times, you always found a way to stay positive. I personally think that's a big part of everything you're talking about. Can you talk about how you do that?
So this is Sue. For those who don't know, she hired me. She gave me a job. Now she's retired, so she can't give me a job. What in the world? Like, talk about timing.
You don't need
This quote here, I think, helps answer that question. So the question was, and sorry, I didn't repeat your question. It was how do I find my purpose? How do I live out purpose? This question is talking about just how do I stay positive in regards to aspects of purpose in life. But it says life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. So I wasn't going to share this story, but I will since I wasn't inundated with tons of questions, but thank you. When I was 25, I remember leaving Prudential, leaving work, and I actually went to the nurse. The nurse, I was about to leave. I was in the parking lot, and my mom was like, just go to the nurse before you head home. And I went back into the building, went to the nurse, and the nurse was like, you got to go straight to the hospital. Like, something is wrong with you. I won't go through the whole story, but at 25 years old, I was told I was never going to walk again. I was told I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and just get used to life being a vegetable, which I know some people think is rude, but it's really what they told me in the hospital. And it was funny because when I was in the hospital, the doctors would come in and they say, Olivia, smile for us. And by the fourth time they asked me to smile, I'm like, listen, y'all, I'm in the hospital. I'm in the stroke ward. Like, what in the world is going on? And they said, oh, when you smile, it shows us your symptoms because only half your face moves. I remember laying on the hospital bed like, what in the world did they just say? I won't go through my whole story with crawling from room to room and all this journey that I had been on. But I just say that later on that same year, I was out doing a conference, and that's what started the ministry that you heard in my bio, because I realized that in that situation, the doctors, and the nurses, they were so kind. I mean, they were just such a blessing for me. But they just I kept hearing, like, I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. Like, this is your fate. You don't have a choice. And so sometimes I think in life, when we get into tough situations, what keeps me positive is always looking for, but what's my choice? Like, I don't think we ever stop having choices. And so for me, like, even though they were like, well, you are going to need a wheelchair, and you're going to need a seat to take a shower, and you're going to need this, I kept saying, well, what happens if I don't have that? And they were like, well, you're going to have to crawl. I was like, I think I'll crawl. I remember having a race with my husband crawling down from our living room to the bedroom. Because I said, well, while we're down here, we might as well race. So some of my life perspective, and positivity is one of my strengths, if you ever done Strength Finder, so I get it. But some of my life perspective is don't forget you have a choice. Like, circumstances happen to us, but then we still have a choice. And there's always a purpose and a reason. Now, I thank God for my healing journey, and I thank God that I can stand here today. Don't do the math, but it is like 15 years or so later or plus that I am walking. So I thank God that, like, my diagnosis and my journey is what it is. But understand, I know I stand before you today knowing life comes with stuff for all of us, and it can be hard. But we still have a choice in how to respond, and there's always a purpose behind it all. So for me, my purpose, I think, was to start the ministry that my husband and I lead, and also to do stuff like this, to talk to all of you on the other side of it, to tell you there is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm sure I'm probably at my time. No? I think I am. All right. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I want to leave you with this. This last quote, it says, finding your purpose is a lifelong journey. I added the S because I say purposes, okay? Enjoy the journey. So I hope you all enjoy the journey. I do have some bookmarks for you on your way out. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today.